Hey, what's up everyone? My name's Wes. We're talking Forgotten Feats in today's video, as we are doing another one of the Forgotten Realms. Heroes of the Forgotten Realms. New book on D&D Beyond. Um, let's go. So, just a bit of housekeeping here. I'm doing this before the book is officially released to the general public, and there may be some sort of update between now and when this video is being recorded and when you're seeing it. Keep that in mind. There are often things called errata, and that's the reason I don't really buy physical books other than the starter sets, because I don't want them to become something like a Warhammer book that is obsolete like 3 days after you buy it. Actually, Warhammer books are obsolete technically the same day you buy them because of digital updates and poor business practices. Either way, we are going to get into the general feats, and our first general feat is called Coldcaster. This is just standard general feat, so prerequisite level 4. You increase one of your mental stats by 1 to a maximum of 20, and this is going to give you the ability to cast. So you learn Ray of Frost, and if you already know Ray of Frost, you can choose a different spell from the wizard spell list. And then the other part of this is Frostbite. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack roll and deal cold damage, you can temporarily negate the creature's defenses. The creature subtracts 1d4 from the next saving throw it makes before the end of its next turn, or the end of your next turn. This is honestly not that bad, especially if you have like the Winter Walker Ranger, and they are concentrating on something perhaps like Summon Fae, where so you hit them with cold damage, then your Fae decides to use one of its like teleport abilities, like the ones that have to make a fear check or saving throw against frightened or charmed. So being able to subtract a d4 from that isn't half bad. Next up, we have Dragon's Guard, prerequisite, Coat of the Dragon Initiate feat, which you can see those in my Origin Feats video. This is going to increase your Constitution or Charisma by 1. You're going to actually see increased Charisma a lot in this book, which I'm not disappointed in. I know the Big B's book gave us a lot of increase to Wisdoms. Not too much increase to Intelligence around here. I mean, if you saw the D&D movie, you remember when the Interluck Devourers walked past. Anyway, you gain damage resistance to either acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison. The chromatic dragons, basically. And fearsome power. When you deal damage to a creature as part of the attack action or magic action, you can use Dragon's Terror benefit of the Cult of Initiate as a bonus action on your turn, instead of your action, which is what you normally have to do. It kind of sucks that you have to do the damage first to then bonus action frighten them. Not really, because I mean they'll just have disadvantage against attacking you, as opposed because frighten does not give you advantage unless you're playing the Scion of the Three Rogue. So keep that in mind. All right. So the next feat that we have is Enclave Magic. Prerequisite, Emerald Enclave Fledgling. Increase your mental stats, one of your mental stats, Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma by 1. Last time I'm going to say them all out. I'm just going to say mental stats from here on out. And you gain Friends to Animals. You have advantage on ability checks when taking the Influence action with Beast. Remember, your background Emerald Enclave Fledgling gives you Speak with Animals. So now you're going to have advantage while you're speaking with animals. And then you also have 2 hearts, 1 mind. You always have Beast Sense prepared. You can cast it once without expending a spell slot. And you regain the ability to cast this when you finish a long rest. When you cast this without a spell slot, it doesn't require concentration, which is really good. Once again, if you're a ranger, then you can concentrate on something else, like Hunter's Mark, because that's what they want you to concentrate on, right? You can also cast this using any, spell of the appropriate level. Now, if you remember the Tasha's version of Ranger, I'm pretty sure they used to get Speak with animals, beasts, and speak with plants. Another 2 spells for free. Always prepared when they gain the appropriate level. And unfortunately, that didn't make its way to 2020 or to the revised rules. So, if I was going to give this for free, this feat for free, I would just remove the ability score increase as a way to add flavor back to the ranger. But I already have like the 4 feats I give rangers. If I gave them like the Emerald Enclave or the Emerald Enclave Fledgling feat as well, and this, I mean, that's like 3 free extra spells, more survival ability, more tracking ability, kind of like everything they had before and that was taken away, but just giving them official feats so it's on their character sheet already. Like I said, minus the ability score, or just make it so they can't take the score in wisdom. Like, yeah, put it in your intelligence or your charisma, because I know you dumped one of those too. Alright, then we have Fairy Trickster. Increase your dexterity or charisma. So, once again, Fey Wanderer, any bard. I mean, a sorcerer is not going to mind this, just neither is a warlock of the Archfey, perhaps, or I think that, like I said, any rogue, or even the new fighter, the Banneret fighter, paladin, because the Oath of the Genie wants you to kind of go dex and armorless. So, sorry, my phone just thought I spoke to it. Right, Fairy Trotter. That's a tongue twister, kind of. Anyway, when you take the disengage action on your turn, difficult terrain does not cost extra movement for the rest of your turn. Not bad, not bad. Then you also get Flustering Strike. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can attempt to fluster it. The target must succeed a wisdom save against your ability that you increase with this, plus your DC of 8, plus your proficiency bonus. So, you know, whatever your DC is. Or they have disadvantage on saving throws until the end of your next turn. Pretty powerful, just giving out disadvantage on saving throws. But once you use this, you can use this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you take a long rest. Flustering Strike, pretty good. Genie Magic, increase any of your mental stats by 1. Then you have Wish Magic. As a magic action, you can cast a first level spell of your choice from the sorcerer spell list that has a casting time of an action. Once you use this benefit, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. The spell casting ability is whatever you chose as your score, as your increase. Here's the cool thing though. When you reach 11th level, the spell is cast as if it was the 2nd level. When you reach 17th, it becomes 3rd level. So, I would pick a spell that definitely upscales, right? So, like, Hold Person is on the sorcerer spell list, and when cast at 3rd level, so at level 17, you can just pick 3 people. It doesn't have the wording, you can cast this without a spell slot. Once again, so it says, as a magic action, you cast a 1st level spell of your choice from the sorcerer spell list. That's a casting time of 1 action. Once you use this benefit, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. So it's still using your spell slots from the looks of it, and once you get certain levels, you can actually upcast it up to, 2nd or 3rd level depending. Actually, it's a feat, so your class doesn't matter. Once you hit, you still need the spell slots. I feel like that's gonna need some errata, some sort of FAQ to clear that up. So let's just move on. We're gonna get Harper Teamwork, prerequisite Harper Agent. Increase your dex or charisma. Once again, another feat that increases those. Then we have Withering Wordplay. When you take the help action to assist an ally with an attack roll against an enemy, the enemy also has disadvantage on the first saving throw it makes before the start of your next turn. So, like, you're taking the help action to give your ally advantage, which you can do from 30 feet away. If they by chance have an ability, let's say they were a paladin and they hit and decided that immediately after they hit they were going to take a bonus action to Thunder Smite, or use the Tao magic because they're a genie warlock or a genie paladin, and immediately can force that saving throw, which will now be at disadvantage. I love teamwork feats or teamwork related classes, which is why I rated the Cthulhu by Torchlight subclasses so high. The second part of this is inspiring willpower. If you succeed a saving throw to end the frightened or paralyzed condition on yourself, you can choose an ally within 30 feet of yourself who has the same condition, and it immediately ends on them. Pretty good. Like, you guys are all rolling for, like, instance against Dragon Fear. You're facing Thunderchild, and the chubby dragon decides to try to use its presence to frighten you guys, and your allies fail, but you pass. At least one of your allies fail. You pass. You can just be like, "Hey, I've succeeded, so you succeeded," which very much would seem like the type of thing that would happen in D&D movie. Chris Pine not actually using bardic magic and just saying words. All right, so we have Lordly Resolve, which requires Lords of the Alliance agent feat. Increase your strength or charisma by 1. Standard Bearer. As a bonus action, choose up to 3 creatures you can see within 60 feet of yourself. Each creature can immediately take a reaction to right itself up, so end the prone condition provided its speed isn't 0. Additionally, you can bolster the target's resolve, which lasts for 1 minute or until you have the incapacitated condition. This condition, incapacitated condition, while bolstered, the target can't be charmed or frightened. If it's charmed or frightened, they have advantage on the next saving throw on any new saving throws against the related effects, and you can do this once per long rest. Mythal Touch. Mythals are very, very powerful magic items that exist in the Forgotten Realms, created by the former civilization from Mithramor. Or were they created by probably the Netherese Empire? Either or. Mythos are very powerful magic items. So you can increase your mental stats by 1. And then Mythal Ward. If a spell attack hits you, you can, or you fail a saving throw against the magic spell, you can take a reaction, roll on the random table provided below. If the effect requires a DC, it's whatever the mental stat you chose is plus regular DC added stuff. And you can use this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. This is just like a mini wild magic table. If you're familiar with the Planescape feats, one of them also had a table on it. I think it was whatever the chaos one was it, but like if you crit, you had to roll a d4 and you got some sort of magical effect added to whatever you did. I'm not gonna go over the table. It's a table, you can look at it yourself. I'll probably post it here on your screen somewhere. Then we have Order Resilience, which is a prerequisite. Hero of the Gauntlet feat. Increase your strength, wisdom, or charisma by 1. Research. When you have the prone condition, you can right yourself up with only 5 feet of movement, similar to Athlete. And then we have Stronger Together. If you're within 5 feet of an ally that doesn't have the incapacitated condition, you and your ally have advantage on strength saving throws. You can't use this benefit while you're incapacitated. So as long as you're within 5 feet of a buddy and neither one of you are like hit by a spell or unconscious, you guys just have advantage on strength saves. Pretty good. Purple Dragon Commandant requires the Purple Dragon Rook feature and or martial weapon proficiency. So increase your strength or dex by 1. Then you have Encourage Ally. As a bonus action, you bolster 1 ally you can see within 30 feet. Ally gains temporary hit points equal to 2d6 plus the modifier you chose. And you can take this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses on a long rest. And you also have advantage on, then last stand, you have advantage on attack rolls while bloodied. Next up, we have Spellfire Adept, requires the Spellfire Spark feat, or Spellcasting, or Pack Magic features. So just being a spellcaster, or a third caster, or a half caster. Basically anyone who's not a barbarian or a monk. And then, so you increase your mental stats by 1 once per turn. As when a spell you cast deals radiant damage, you can expend up to 2 hit dice and roll them, add them to the damage of 1 damage roll from that spell. So you have to deal radiant damage, which already seems like, okay, the Spellfire... Oh, wait. True Strike does radiant damage if you want it to, which means it's available to just about everyone. Anyway, the other part is Searing Spellfire. Or that was Field Spellfire, that feature. The other part is Searing Spellfire. When you make a damage roll that deals radiant damage, it ignores resistance to radiant damage. So sort of like Elemental Adept, but for radiant. I don't think there's a necrotic version, unfortunately. Street Justice. This increases your strength or dex by 1. Headlock. Your allies have advantage on attack rolls against a creature grappled by you. Sturdy Knock. When you use a chain, manacles, or rope to bind a creature, you can add your proficiency to the DC, escape, or the burst of the chain, manacles, or rope. Tough Talk. Creatures with a hostile attitude doesn't... A creature's hostile attitude doesn't impose disadvantage on charisma intimidation checks made to influence them. Then, our final feat, Zentarum Tactics. Require the Zentarum Ruffian feat. Increase your dexterity or charisma by 1. Retaliate. Immediately after a creature within 30 feet, within 5 feet of you hits you with the melee attack, you can make an opportunity attack against that creature. Note the wording there. It does say opportunity attack. So any feature that triggers off an opportunity attack will work here. Then you also have Versatile Merc. When you finish a long rest, choose a skill in which you have proficiency in. You gain expertise in that skill until your next long rest. And that's all of the feats in today's video. Let me know what you think about them. How would you use them? Do any stand out to you? Any seem really powerful or really good in your opinion? I mean, I do like feats that encourage teamwork. They are some of the best in my opinion because people like to optimize their characters but don't always make the smartest moves in combat. So feats or subclasses that encourage allies or help allies are like some of the best in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. My name has been Wes. Where's the fun? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and bye.